How's it going, Rip City? Welcome back to the Blazer Fanatics game recap series. Tonight we are breaking down the Portland Trail Blazers 125 to 122 loss. I am Duvy with my co-host Boozy. How you doing, Boozy?
I'm doing not too bad. Tough loss tonight, but hey, the day is a day. Always a good day. How about yourself?
I'm not doing too bad. The Blazers let me down tonight, but it is what it is. Portland falls 125 to 122 against the Oklahoma City Thunder off of a back-to-back. Both teams off of a back-to-back at the Moda Center. The Blazers without Robert Covington. He was a scratch with a concussion, so we hope Rob gets well soon. Rodney Hood did not play tonight, which is an odd decision. We were in an 8-man rotation, very short lineup. What was your reaction to the game tonight, Boozy?
I knew Portland would kind of come out the gates a little slower. They've done that in the past with back-to-back sets, and this was no different. We didn't really find our offensive rhythm until later in the first quarter, and that kind of allowed OKC, to get their offense set. And we went down pretty big, early on with them just getting open looks. It wasn't like, they were, hitting tough shots, contested, all this. No, they were pretty open shots for the most part. And that kind of just came to us not playing energetic. Because I think when we have Rocco out there, he's the voice of our defense. He's more that anchor type that's, always in the passing lanes, all that stuff. And when you don't have that energetic type guy, it takes another player, to step up. And that Gary Trent at times can do it when he's, mentally in the game. And it seemed like he was doing better off today than he was yesterday against the Knicks, shooting wise and, fitting that role. Obviously, not having Hood out there was kind of a bummer offensively. But I think outside of just the early start, we played OKC pretty well. What about you? What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I thought the tail of the game was definitely OKC just getting open shots. A lot of corner threes. I mean, as a team, we shot 45% from three. So, you're gonna be hard pressed to beat somebody when they're shooting like that. And like you said, it wasn't contested shots. They were hitting wide open shots in the corner. Specifically, guys like Mike Muscala, who was the second coming of Dirk, apparently, shooting 60% from three, torching us for 23 points. I mean, come on. When was the last time a guy like Mike Muscala did that, right? I think that was the fault of having a guy like Cantor out there trying to play perimeter defense. We don't really expect him to do that, but you would also hope Mike Muscala doesn't torch you, but he did.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think overall there was actually a lot of good things to take away from this game. Still, I particularly love Gary Trent and Anthony Simons scoring 22 and 26 respectively. Carmelo Anthony had a great game on the offensive end, 22 points. Uh, and obviously Cantor had 22 rebounds, which is insane. There was nobody on that team that could guard him. Pokusevsky, I think it's how you pronounce his name. He couldn't do anything. Muscala couldn't do anything. Uh, and that starting five for the Thunder is kind of small, so Cantor had his way. So I think those were some good things that we can take away. The Blazers, we had some guys that shot really well, some guys that didn't. Like Dame going 8 of 22, 3 of 12 from three, which hurts. But I liked our energy in the second half. It's not a Blazer game unless somebody has a big lead in the beginning of the game. And tonight it was a Thunder. Both teams came off of a back to back though, so I was kind of hoping our energy levels would be the same, but they weren't. And Oklahoma came out with more energy. They're young. They're a young team, definitely built for the future. So yeah, I don't know. I wasn't too disappointed by the performance except for the wide open shots.
Yeah. I mean, when you expect Cantor to be our, defensive, rebounder type, you're not wanting him to be out on guarding Muscala. That's kind of why it was nice to see Giles out there because he definitely held his own and was, jumping screens, being that physical guy. I mean, you saw that putback. He got the offensive rebound and the two-hand jammed it. that's something he brings to that second unit, just energy with Nasir Little as well. But I think the biggest takeaway from these past two games, for the most part, this one especially, was Anthony Simon's performance. There was an interview Friday where he was saying like this is his time to show what he's been doing with CJ out. He gets the opportunity to do it now, and then he scores 26. And these weren't you know easy shots. I mean, they were Dame like shots, as you would like we could say. Coming off. A couple of them were created through Dame, but most of these were him coming off a screen, pull in, or in that third quarter when he was, or fourth quarter when he was driving down after a rebound, came down, bodied Hamidou Diallo, and then hit the three. This is something, we saw, obviously, we've seen flashes in the past, especially that last game of the season against the Kings. He has the talent to score and, be that aggressive type. It's just we need him to because with him and Trent and Melo coming off our bench, obviously when our team is healthy, maybe, if we can hold a healthy team for once, that's a trio off your bench that, all three of them scored 20 plus tonight. That's some weapons to have, and even Cantor, in the mix of that going 13 too. So it's promising to get these guys an opportunity, before it matters in the playoffs. What were your thoughts on the young guys tonight?
Yeah, no, I really loved what I saw from Anthony Simons in particular. I loved his aggressiveness on the offensive end. I loved his ability to shot create coming off of screens and just willing to pull. He looked really confident and he shot the ball really well. Um, I feel like he's a very streaky player, and when he's on, and he definitely reminds me a lot of a CJ McCollum type. Uh, just in the sense in that he can shoot you into ball games, like he can win you ball games. Here's a play here where he shoves off Diallo and then steps back for the three. But I really loved what I saw. That third quarter especially was incredible. 12 points in that third alone. One play that stood out from him was that drive to the baseline and then the left-handed kind of like scoop dunk that he
Oh
did. That
yeah.
was a great play. We know Ant's got bounce, and he showed it there. He was really versatile on the floor. Uh, I liked what I saw from Gary Trent too. He played aggressively, taking 17 shots. Only made one less than Ant. He played 41 minutes, which is a lot, but when you're running an 8-man, someone's got to do that. Um, I even liked what I saw from Nas. He didn't shoot very well. There's the Ant dunk. But Nas didn't shoot very well. But actually, he had some good hustle plays out there. Him and Giles, when they were on the floor, definitely brought a different type of energy to the team. And I really enjoyed seeing some of the younger dudes just get out there and scrap. And against a young team like Oklahoma City, this is a game where they can really benefit from. They're playing with a lot of guys that are more at their level and not as mature and kind of know the NBA. So I really love to see them out there.
And yeah, I think the biggest thing with Nasir, it's his scoring's not always going to be there. He's not really on the team for scoring. Him and Giles both. They always see benefits if they're shooting well and doing well offensively, but just what they do defensively. I mean, combined they have 10 rebounds. Obviously Panther had his monstrous night, but just how active those guys are defensively, boxing out, you know, just doing the little things with the defensive unit. Obviously, they haven't been getting much minutes this season or, throughout their career for the most part, but it's, they could potentially be the future of this team in that sense. And it's definitely a good sign to see, the jump Nasir Little has already had. You're starting to see him kind of play into his own. It seemed like last year he was a little more reckless. When he get the ball, he'd kind of head down, think he's in college or high school, and still think he can hit the shot over people. But it's good that he's starting to, let the game play for him and not force anything and kind of just be that complement to, Damon when CJ comes back, just being that guy who can guard their best player and be aggressive and, catch the lobs with we still know he's athletic and everything. So it's just he's got to put it all together. And I think that just comes with more time and getting play time like you're seeing from Gary Trent and now Anthony Simon. So this is his time also to show, especially if Covington's out for probably a week with a concussion. This year's time to come off the bench and get a lot of minutes.
Yeah, the Blazers, at least for the for the next week, like you said, without Covington, definitely going to be shorthanded. Uh, I think we'll be definitely looking to see more Rodney Hood being back next game. I have a feeling, just with the Achilles and stuff, we don't really want to play him on back to backs, which I understand, but he just wasn't really on any injury report, so I wasn't really expecting it. And offensively, it would have been nice to have him. And Hood's a solid defensive guy, anyways. So he doesn't really hurt you on the defensive end. So it would have been nice to have him, but we want to protect him and his health. Especially when we're already shorthanded with Covington, Collins, Nurk, McCollum all now out. Um, but yeah, no, it honestly wasn't that bad of a performance. Aside from the defense, of course, our defense was pretty terrible, but they just got a lot of open shots against us. But I did really like what I saw on in terms of hustle plays from guys like Giles and Little. And like you said, I think they'll kind of come into their own once they just keep playing. Getting consistent minutes is huge in the NBA. It really puts you into a rhythm. And I'm excited to see, kind of where we go from this performance. Terry Stotts today was quoted as saying no excuses to the loss. So I just want to see one Blazer game where we don't where one team doesn't have a huge lead, unless it's us, of course. But I want to see a Blazer game where we don't put ourselves in a hole and try to dig out of it, which, to our credit, we're good at doing. But it'd be nice to not put yourself in that position. It kind of seems like our first and second quarters are a lot like last year's third quarters, right? Where we
Yeah.
kind of come out flat. We came out flat last year at a halftime a lot. And it kind of feels like that's happening in the first quarter now. So we just need to string together fourth quarters. I mean, we move to what are we now on the season?
9-7.
9-7. I mean, we're sitting good in the West. We need to just survive at least this next week until we get Covington back, roughly. And I think we'll be sitting in a good position in the West. I mean, we're kind of seeing how the conference is shaping up. It's really tough, but where how do you think we're looking in the West so far, even with a shorthanded team?
We're fifth seed, and we're in a pretty good spot with the fifth seed, which is always a good sign. With teams like the Grizzlies, the Suns, Golden State, Dallas, and Houston still below us, which is, some of those teams will obviously have strides, but I think given how, some people would say bad of a start we've had, to still be 9-7, that's always promising. Coming from last season where, we were like 4-8, always with a losing record for pretty much for actually the entire season to think about. And it's good to finally see that we're starting off hot. Usually Portland doesn't have a winning record after 10 games, 20 games. It usually comes with Dame streaking after the All-Star break is when our team goes on those 20-9 win loss streaks. And I think we're in a good spot. We play against another Western Conference opponent in Houston, the new look Houston on Thursday, which I think will be a good matchup to tell. They're a team that is very fast paced like us. They want to run and gun, shoot shots, get up and down the floor. With some player like Christian Wood, who he might not play with a ankle sprain against us, which would benefit us, but they still have DeMarcus Cousins on that team, Victor Oladipo, Eric Gordon can get hot, John Wall. That team's still good. So I think that's another test to see, can our defense step up? If Derek Jones can't play for, if he has his quad still bothering him and he can't show out there, we need, our bench to step up and be even better defensively. Because I don't. That's a team. It's hard to outscore them. They have a ton of weapons. They're used to outscoring teams. So I'd rather play into our game rather than try to outscore a team that wants to outscore you.
Yeah, I mean, at this point, if Derek Jones's left quad contusion, I think it is bothering him. We might need Keldon Blevins to come in and play some minutes for us. So if I mean if he can come out there and just be scrappy and give guys tough times and just be physical, I mean that's fine with me. But it'll be interesting to see kind of how we respond going to the Rockets game. We have a couple days off. We don't play them until Thursday. So and also we're sitting like you said at fifth in the West. Seems like Sacramento at 6-10 and New Orleans at 5-10, sitting in 13th and 14th in the West have been surprising this year. I don't think it's gonna last forever. So we really need to hang on. We need to win some games. Because fifth to ninth is a half game battle, and fourth to ninth is a 1 game battle. All right now, and it's really early in the season, but still, I think it'll be interesting to see how it shapes out and how we respond with a possibly even shorter handed team. At this point, I think we don't have an arm anymore. We're so short handed, but yeah, it is what it is, and I think it'll be an interesting stretch going forward. One last note, by the time when this video goes out, it'll be the 1 year anniversary of Kobe Bryant's passing and his daughter Gigi passing. So I just want to say rest in peace to Kobe. This is a tough day for a lot of people. I think I can speak for a lot of people when we say that we're still in shock. Um, so rest in peace to Kobe Bryant, Gigi, and everyone else on that helicopter. 1 year anniversary, and it still doesn't feel real.
No, not at all. It's still in shock when I woke up to that news. I couldn't believe it. I thought it was TMZ faking it, and this obviously the Portland versus Lakers rivalry couldn't have been the same without him. It's tough as a Blazers fan seeing that type of player go down like that, and he's changed the game forever. That's always what we got to look at, and he was a great influence on so many that we see in the league today, Dame included. And it's always tough to lose a great one like that.
Yeah, Kobe was one of those guys that you love to hate, but you always ended up respecting him in the end. You never truly disliked the guy. You just hated his game because he would always torture your team, and it was tough to watch. But Mamba forever. He he's an inspiration to all of us in terms of his mentality and how he lived his life, and he's a great man and a great father. I think that is going to do it for us. Blazers fall 125 to 122 to Oklahoma City. We will see you guys next time. You can follow us on Twitter at FanaticsBlazer. We thank you guys for watching.